Did you see what's going on? Obviously, you've seen what's going on in California. But the governor gave this creepy fucking speech where he was talking about speculators coming in and talking about what to do with the land, all these homes that have been burnt out, while it's still only 6% contained. And he did this little dance, like I've been talking with these, with the governor of Hawaii about what to do. We got some ideas, a speculator, we're gonna have some meetings.
Really?
Oh,
California Governor Gavin Newsom is now calling his city's homeless encampments unacceptable. Which is odd since he's the guy who, made them acceptable. Turning sidewalks into red carpet events for drug addicts, thieves, and unemployed CNN anchors. On Monday, he urged cities to ban the camps from sidewalks, parks, and other public areas. So after years of denying the problem, he's now pretending to fix it. Which is like putting on a condom as you're leaving a whorehouse.
It feels strange, considering he the same person who spent years making this chaos feel normal, turning sidewalks into something resembling red carpets for drug users, criminals, and even unemployed cable news personalities. Then, suddenly on Monday, he urged local governments to ban encampments from parks, sidewalks, and other public spaces. After dismissing the problem for so long, he now behaves as if it can be solved overnight. That pattern is familiar. It begins with confidence and ends in collapse. Gavin Newsom couldn't even figure out which camera to look at as the moment unraveled. Every angle caught it. Joe Rogan jumped in first, delivering blunt facts with the force of a bulldozer smashing through flimsy walls. Greg Gutfeld followed, landing jokes sharper than California's tax hikes. This wasn't ordinary criticism, it was a complete takedown. The moment rippled outward, flattening everything in its path. Even Newsom's famously rigid hairstyle didn't survive the pressure. Let's be honest, this wasn't a clash of opinions. It was a full-blown on-air meltdown, clear, public, and impossible to forget.
Nobody wants President Newsom either. Nobody believes in that guy. That guy's a fucking con man. Everything he did in California, from trying to mandate vaccines for kids, to being caught public without a mask and lying about the fact that he was outdoors. Yeah. Nobody believes in that guy. He's just a politician. Just a stone-cold, narrative-driven politician. Nobody thinks he's a real human. Whether you like Trump or not, whether you think he's corrupt or not, that's a human being. You know what that guy is. Same thing with RFK Jr. Whether you believe that he's correct about vaccines or whether you believe his policies would be effective, that's a human being. With Newsom, you've got this construct, this cardboard cutout of a person. I don't think people want that, but they might want it more than they want President.
Cut to Gavin Newsom. His hairline looks like it in a long-term contract with a luxury conditioner. He projects the confidence of someone who believes the world pauses just to hear him speak, even when he's standing perfectly still. Then the hit lands. Sharp. Almost mocking. The moment Rogan and Gutfeld zeroed in on California's so-called sparkle prince, the conversation was already over. What followed wasn't a debate. It was a procession of tailored suits and a live, televised demolition. Newsom's carefully polished political image wasn't challenged with words, it was methodically taken apart, like a wrecking ball put on display for everyone to watch.
Kennedy, I think the answer is yes.
Is it because of Israel? Yes. Interest rates? Yes. Too woke? Yes. Like every bad policy that trickled up to the White House during the Biden administration started in California. That state is responsible for the worst politicians in modern history. And he is at the top of the list, and there are some ignoramuses on that.
If you've enjoyed this so far, hit the subscribe button. Now let's talk about Gavin Big Government, the deluxe edition. He enters every room like it a runway, the undisputed master of the scripted TED Talk cadence, complete with a toothpaste commercial smile and the politician holy trinity of charm. His style dazzles at first, then freezes faster than a buffering stream. He branded as the face of progressive politics, charismatic, fluent in climate catchphrases, and likely carrying a wallet made from recycled materials. But beneath the glossy exterior lies a familiar mix: glitz, ego, and far more performance than actual progress.
Their houses have been burned, all their childhood memorabilia, all their stuff for their kids, the photos, the fucking everything they have is gone. All heirlooms, you know, their mother's wedding ring, that kind of shit. Everything's burnt to the ground. And this guy's like standing in front of all this stuff. He's got a smile on his face, and he's talking about land use, the development plan.
And then there's the climate sermon. Gavin stacks up green promises the way Whole Foods stacks organic labels aisle after aisle. Yet a mild breeze is enough to throw California power grid into panic. Flip the switch, applaud the progress, and moments later everyone warned not to charge their cars between 4 o'clock and 9 p.m. because the sun dared to set early. The irony doesn't need help. Gas stoves are banned, yet half the state ends up cooking dinner by flashlight. This isn't policy at performance. Climate theater. Everyone insists they're moving forward while quietly stumbling in the dark, committed to a melancholy, farcical show.
He's the guy who thinks he's going to run for president when, you know, so much of the state is absolutely unlivable. And so every project that he's championed, he's now trying to demonize conveniently, and people are not that dumb. Like, people have been through it in his state. They are sick of him. They want him to leave. And maybe that's why so many people around him are like, you should totally run for president. So he gets out of the state.
Yes. Move away. Cyrus, did he leave out?
Indeed, get out of there. But did he leave quietly? Not a chance. He didn't simply exit California, he escaped, like someone spotting a systemic failure and sprinting for the nearest emergency exit. And who could blame him? Even in elk hunting, sauna-loving podcast giant knows when a state starts to feel more like a post-apocalyptic video game than a promised utopia, it's time to move on. Without a backward glance, Rogan hit Interstate 10 at full throttle. Like a UFC champ switching weight classes, he traded kale for steak, smog for wide-open Texas skies, and scripts for freedom. And he didn't fade into silence. He took the Joe Rogan Experience with him, the loudest microphone on the planet. More than a podcast, it a media juggernaut with over 100 million listeners and an algorithm that makes traditional news networks flinch. Rogan Edge is simple, pure heat, no filters. And Newsom lockdown logic only fueled that fire.
Down in Hawaii, you had some ideas around some land trust concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties, and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter of days, not just weeks.
The big smile on his face. Look at the little wiggle he does with his shoulders. Speculator, watch this. Talking to John. Look at this. Look at this little wiggle. It's excited about the possibilities of speculators coming in. And he's saying we're going to move forward. We're going to move forward on that. These people lost their homes. A lot of those people don't even have fire insurance because the fire insurance pulled out of California. I think like 69% of fire insurance pulled out of California because they're like, this is too crazy. Like, you guys aren't doing jack shit to manage this.
Rogan called out the hypocrisy so relentlessly it nearly shut down the French Laundry from second-hand embarrassment, while Gavin sipped fine wine as if the world outside weren't falling apart. And Rogan wasn't alone. He brought an entire lineup: comedians armed with razor-sharp sarcasm, economists, medical professionals, and even TikTok finance creators using cartoon filters to explain markets more clearly than California regulations ever did. Megacorporations rode out the chaos like it was business as usual, while small businesses collapsed under the weight. Health orders felt as though they were pulled from a magic 8-ball, random, confusing, and endlessly frustrating. Meanwhile, Gavin stood there with that polished smile, as if a little extra hair gel could seal broken trust. Then came the modern-day Oregon Trail, what some call the Great Tech Migration, only this time with Teslas instead of wagons.
While Californians have lost their homes and they're still suffering from the devastation, what does Gavin Newsom decide to do? Well, now is apparently the perfect time to try and boost his popularity and essentially promote himself. He's launched a podcast. I'll play you the trailer in just a moment, but take notice. Does the trailer that he shared with the world on X doesn't even mention the most horrific fire catastrophe that occurred under his leadership, partly as a result of the decisions he was making, like cutting fire prevention. No, this is his chance to talk about his image, insisting that
Rogan didn't just talk, he acted. He moved his studio to Austin, where blackouts were rare, leaving behind California growing hostility toward freedom and creativity. No chart, comment, or statistic made a stronger case than Rogan's simplest argument: his own life. No theatrics. No shouting. He picked up the microphone and said what everyone was already thinking: this isn't working. Then, like a raccoon on a calculated mission, Greg Gutfeld entered the frame. Armed with sharp intellect and sharper contempt, he didn't yell, he carved. Every line landed with surgical precision, sharp enough to curdle almond milk. Gutfeld delivers a cold, 5-star takedown, flawless timing, ruthless accuracy, and perfectly styled hair. Staring straight through Gavin's polished facade, he voiced truths millions only dared whisper. The man came off like a SimCity advertisement for luxury candles, glossy, curated, and blindfolded to reality. Gutfeld yanked back the curtain. Behind the Vanity Fair sheen were boarded-up shops and empty streets.
California Governor Gavin Newsom has been facing major calls to resign over his appalling handling of the deadly California wildfires. And just to quickly recap, these were the most destructive wildfires the state has ever seen. More than 16,000 properties were destroyed. The cost of the fires is estimated to be more than $200 billion. And for businesses in LA County, the future is looking grim. It's projected businesses will continue to lose billions of dollars over the next 5 years due to
tent encampments and struggling juice bars, dystopia wrapped in yoga mats, while Gavin kept smiling as if scented candles and self-help slogans had somehow solved homelessness. But Gutfeld wasn't finished. He went straight for the jugular, the media's fixation on Gavin. Legacy outlets treat him like a JFK reboot, complete with designer tote bags and a flawless smile. Yet beneath the polish sat a spray-tanned mess of disorder. Gutfeld outbursts weren't just punchlines, they hit like cannon fire. As everyday people struggled with gas, rent, and grocery bills, glowing profiles of Gavin's bold leadership were torn apart. Families couldn't afford milk, yet magazines swooned over his mystique. Then came the climate farce. Gutfeld, a true sniper fueled by espresso, sliced through buzzwords like solar fantasies and carbon virtue. Everything sounded noble until the only question that mattered surfaced: who's paying? Administrators cruised around in hybrids like extras from a sci-fi film.
Anything? I think there's about 100 other reasons too.
Well, you can't, it's not his words when he speaks.
Yeah.
You have to watch him closely. And some genius decided not to film him any lower than the shoulder.
Yes, did you? Yes.
So what did he do?
You couldn't see the hands.
No, but he said Morse code.
Yes.
Go back and watch it. Look at the blinking. Look. Meet me at the house. Like, he's blinking. He's saying, I'm getting there. Hey, just so you know.
While citizens endured blackouts and half-finished charging stations, Gutfeld didn't just expose the truth, he dismantled the act. The planet wasn't being saved, it was being staged for Instagram. Then came the knockout punch: Gavin presidential ambitions. Gutfeld wasn't buying the 2028 chatter drifting around like incense at a yoga retreat. He brushed aside the notion that someone struggling to manage a single state could somehow run the entire country. "He running fine," Gutfeld snapped, "but that mismanagement, not leadership." The jokes practically wrote themselves. Putting Newsom in the White House would be like franchising a restaurant that just failed 3 health inspections: broken freezer, filthy kitchen, terrible reviews, all hidden behind a shiny new sign. Gutfeld didn't pull a single punch. He shattered the illusion, leaving even Newsom PR team unable to laugh it off. Then came the unexpected tag team. Rogan and Gutfeld collided like twin wrecking balls. Rogan delivered the facts. Gutfeld lit the fuse. Together, they showed that Newsom leadership doesn't just miss the mark.
Gavin Newsom talks about California. It's like, I'm very big on California, very bullish on California. Hey, they're all moving. The only reason why they don't move is because it's too difficult to move. It's too expensive to leave versus when all the bullshit with all the permits and all that, it's too expensive. That he's correct about vaccines, or whether you believe his policies would be effective. And that's a human being. With Newsom, you've got like this construct, this cardboard cutout of a person. I don't think people want that, but they might want it more than they want president.
It wipes the target off the board. Rogan didn't need to yell or pontificate. His calm, steady voice carried more force than a scream. People were leaving. Businesses were faltering. Homelessness was climbing. He'd moved for a reason. That voice was a sledgehammer wrapped in silk. Humor wasn't the point. Impact was. Then Gutfeld stepped in, different energy, same deadly precision. While Rogan dissected calmly, Gutfeld roasted with flair. Like a comedian trapped in the worst play, he read the government script line by line, each word dripping with disbelief. Rogan reached the thinkers demanding proof and receipts. Gutfeld aimed at the disillusioned, those whose faith in media had been replaced by slogans. Charts and videos circulated through Rogan's audience, while Gutfeld simply gestured at the chaos and let reality do the work. No matter the method, Gutfeld razor-sharp sarcasm or Rogan icy logic, they arrived at the same grim verdict. Gavin Newsom is performing, not leading. This isn't just failure, it's glitter-coated failure. He comes across like a trailer promising a masterpiece, delivering instead 90 minutes of slow-motion speeches and empty platitudes. Rogan and Gutfeld weren't fooled. They saw the same illusion from opposite angles and dismantled it with surgical precision.
For national office, he acts like a Republican. This is where the left is really pro-trans. Suddenly, they grow bald.
Gavin embodies style without substance, endless speeches, hollow spectacle, and polished rhetoric. Commentary ended the moment Rogan and Gutfeld tore off the glossy mask, turning simple observation into full-blown political reckoning. Audiences across the spectrum, one wielding a chainsaw, the other a wrench, were left nodding in stunned recognition. I can't stop thinking about Gavin. Beyond admiring his near American Psycho-level performance, he seems to be distancing himself from his party's most extreme ideologies. The governor who rails against fossil fuels yet struggles to influence gas prices once promised California would be a haven for anyone seeking it. Suddenly, everyone saw clearly. Disillusioned hipsters, libertarians, conservatives, weary millennials, even the barista who swore off politics all recognized the same truth. Poor leadership wasn't the disaster. The real catastrophe was the theater itself. And just as chaos threatened to overwhelm, the final montage landed like a punch. The revelation outweighed any victory. Newsom wasn't the only target, but he was the clearest example. When the curtain fell, all that remained were filters, flash, and holofixes. Rogan could release a full episode, California Collapse Volume 2. And thanks to Gutfeld, it might go viral as the homeless edition of Gavin's glamour tour. Will Gavin reconsider? Of course not. He'll likely post a selfie with a wind turbine and a line about visionary leadership. Change has never been his focus. Performance always.